Well, hello there. Welcome everyone. This is just a random video. There is no such water. It's just a random Dart tutorial. I'm just feeling bored in my home, so I decided what I am learning. Why not just record it so that I can express what I am learning. What is custom operator is, let me demonstrate. Let me just write a main function. And if you are familiar with programming language, okay, you know the operators are like what? The addition sign, the subtraction sign, the multiple, division operators. Okay, why we need custom operators? Like what plus signs do? Suppose we have an integer of a, which is like, okay, 10, an integer of b, which is 20. It c should be a plus b. The plus actually doing this, it's gonna take the value of a, take the value of b, and add those value. The plus actually do this, but suppose we don't want this type of behavior. We want to add some vector. Like from math we know what is vector. A vector could have dimensions like I plus j plus k. It could have the coefficient like 2, 3, 5. Like vector can be like that. So suppose we have another vector, call it vector 2. I am okay, vector, this is 2, this is 1. Okay, now like 3i plus 4j plus 6k. Now what I want to do right now is we're gonna sum those vector. Okay, like we wanna put the vector like vector 1 plus vector 2, and I want the result should like that. For I it should be 5i, it should be like 5i plus 3 and 4 7j plus 5 and 6 11k. The result should be like that. I want the result to be like that. But okay, let me just create the class of vector, class like say vector 2d. Why 2d? We just want to have the I and j value. Okay, suppose final double I and final double j, and we need a constructor for this. Okay, suppose we now want to vector 1. Okay, let me just see. Okay, vector 1 is equal nothing but vector 2 3 and vector. If you want to print those, AI is auto completing the stuffs. Okay, it's just printing what? Printing instance of vector 2. So we want, I know why this is happening. We want to print what? 2y plus 3j. Let me just override the default toString method, because this is a class vector 2d. In Dart, what happen is when you call instance, the class already have a toString method, so we have to override it. I will show you what it means. Now see, we are printing the vector 1. It is showing 2i 3j. What was wrong here? By default the toString method is like that. Instance of in Dart there is something called runtime type. So you are seeing this previously. What runtime type is? The type of the class we are working with. So we don't want this thing, we want like this. This is the string interpolation, this is the value of I, and followed by the I plus value of j followed by the j. So this is our vector 2i 3j. We can print the vector 2. Okay, we have those vectors. Now if we want like something, print vector 1 plus vector 2, it will give an error obviously, because the addition operator do not know how to add those vectors. because this is not a normal integer or double. It's just a new type called vector 2D, which takes two value I and j, and the plus operator don't even know how to operate on them. There is the situation where we need to actually declare how the plus operator gonna do is do it do the operation for addition of two vector. So let me just create an addition operator, add operator. Okay, if you are not familiar with that, maybe you are not going to understand a lot of this, but yeah, every programming language, if it's a modern programming language, it should have something called operator overloading. So we are gonna do this by operator overloading. In Dart, how it is implemented is, you're gonna name the class name. This is the okay, let me just write it, and then I'm gonna explain it what it is doing. Vector 2D, and let's second, okay, other, let's name this other. So what that line actually saying is, if we have okay, operator here is a keyword in Dart, which we use in operator overloading and other stuffs. Well, what that means is, this is the sign, and this vector 2D are the type we are going to work with. So we are going to have a value of vector 2D, like this is like this, like vector 1. Let me just clear it up. Vector 1, then operator plus, and then we're gonna have another type of vector 2D, which is name other, or we can have the name anything we like say vector 2. Okay, so vector 2. If we have this kind of situation, this line actually represents this, and we have a vector 2D type of object, which I'm calling vector 1, and then we're gonna have the operator plus, and then we're gonna have another type of the vector 2D, which have named vector 2. Then we're gonna return something, return vector 2D. And what we want to return, actually, we want to return the ith value with the ith value. So x, no, not x, we are using I, so I plus vector 2 dot I. Isn't that we are going to return? We're gonna return the summation of I with the vector 2's I, and the summation of j with the vector 2's j. So vector 2 dot j, and that's it. This is what we are looking forward. No, and as you can see, it's already been working here. Like if we are going to change the values, like it's 10 and it's 12, suppose what it is doing, 2 plus 12, it's 14. So you can see that it's 14i, and 10 plus 4 is 14j. So you can see it's working fine. So what we have done already is, we created a class called vector 2D, which actually prints the vector like that. This is why we can create a vector like that, like vector 2 instance of instance, and we're gonna have a vector of 2i plus 10j. We can actually make this more clear by having this. Dart has something called required parameter, so that it is, you can see the name of this, like I'm going to show you what it does, like 4 and 5. So you can see what are the values you are putting. I equal 4, j equal 5. So now you have the explicit declaration of what are you doing. It is not no more the positional argument right now. So what required parameter actually helps is you can put the I in front of j, after the j. It doesn't matter because it no longer now positional argument. It's just a named parameter. Then when you put the I3, it will always go to the front because it's named. 3 will always go to the I position. So this is one thing. I will be like 3 and okay. Now let's suppose we want to multiply vectors by 3. Like let's suppose we want to find a multiply which gonna multiply the vector 2 with 2. For now the multiply operator doesn't know how to multiply the vector 2 with the scalar value 2. So we have to write another operator overloading. Like let me define another thing like operator. What is the operator? The times or multiple, and what we are expecting to be on the right side of the operator. It's a scalar. No, if you are thinking it's just a number. Okay, it could be a double, it could be int, whatever it is, but for now we are taking this as double. In vector we call this what? Scalar. It's a double value. You can take int. We're gonna name it what? Let me call it scalar. You can name it anything. You can name it number. It will work. But as we are working with vector, let me just name it scalar. So what we want to do, want the operator to do is it's gonna return another vector. For the ith value, we're gonna have the I times the scalar, and for j times the scalar. So that's it. And now if you wanna print the multiple, let me just print the mul. You can see it's working, you know. Let me just, there's nothing but mul. Okay, you can see the multiplication with the 2. So this is the beauty of operator overloading. You can actually override the default behavior of the operator. So by default you were unable to add to vectors, and it is so interesting that now you have an extra feature, you can call it, that you can use the plus operator to do something else. Isn't that beautiful? You can similarly define for subtraction like vector to the operator negative and vector to the, like, here it is. Now if you want to print like subtraction vector 1 minus vector 2, you can have it like that.